Are you ready?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, good evening. Excuse me. I'd like to call to order the Thursday, October 9th, 2025 meeting of the Culver Town Council. Order. I'd like to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded. Your participation is your consent to be rebroadcast on the town's YouTube channel. Also, if you please have any type of electronic device, if you'd either put it on airplane or turn it off, it'd be much appreciated. Roll call, please.
William Clevenger.
Present.
Justin Croy.
Here.
Jenny Monroe. Here. Dana Neers. Here. And Sally Ricciardi.
Here. Will everyone please join me in the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is the approval of minutes, minutes of the September 25th meeting of the Culver Town Council. If councilors, everybody had a chance to review the minutes, any additions, corrections?
Mr. President, if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
Maureen Dickinson had asked to see a copy of the draft minutes, and I forwarded those to her. She sent back an email with some changes in it. Some of them were just, formatting, some spelling changes, which I've made. Other changes were a little bit more. So if I may just read what she's requesting so that it shows in the minute, I'll attach it to the next set of minutes or this set of minutes.
Okay.
That way it just shows in the record what she had requested. And then we can move on. Okay. So she had, I had Robert Cooper, the third, not junior, resides at 528 South Main Street, not 525. Stakes were placed on the property at 522, not exactly on the property line, which would not be Mr. Cooper's property line either. The word barred should be rebarred. The word rerod should be rebar. Craig Meisowitz was misspelled, or Mr. Meisowitz last name was misspelled, and I corrected that. Then she added omissions. Discussion took place concerning requests from Dickinson to town manager Dante to address excessive brush behind the shed at 528 South Main Street. Dante was made aware of this on 9/4. Several requests were made from Mr. Dante to Mr. Cooper. Brush was relocated 2 times, one at property line between houses and one along property line at Hay Barn encroaching alley. Mr. Dante took it upon himself to pick up the brush in his own vehicle on the morning of 9/25. One of our paid surveyor wooden stakes was included in that pile. And then she included 3 pictures, which I'll just include and add to the set of minutes. So
I'll motion to approve the minutes with the amendments that Karen made.
I would say the changes, we did all of this, I'll just show in the minutes.
Ms. Monroe moves to approve the minutes with the amendments. Was there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Muir. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The same sign. Thank you. Next is public concern, utility and ordinance violation of appeals. Anyone in the room? Anyone online? Okay. Next, I'd like to welcome Annette Hanning from the Health Department. Annette, you want to come forward? Do you have a handout for us? Or?
I have all kinds of. And my name is Annette Haining, and it's Haining.
I
know. And I am the Tobacco Education Coordinator for Marshall County, and I am going to pass out some information. And before you start taking a look at it, let me give you my speech, okay? Nope.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So I want to thank you for the opportunity for letting me come and speak with you tonight. I'm here looking for a support in making Culver a smoke-free community. Okay, you guys are almost there anyway, because you have everything is basically smoke-free in Culver, which Culver is a town that values health, family, and the future of our youth. We pride ourselves on being safe, welcoming place to live, work, and visit. But tobacco use in public spaces threatens that vision. Secondhand smoke is a proven health hazard. It affects everyone, especially children, seniors, and those with respiratory conditions. There's no safe level of exposure. By adopting a smoke-free policy for public air, we would be sending a clear message that Culver prioritizes clean air, healthy living, and safe environment for all. And Mr. Clevenger, you're cheating. You're looking at my paper already. Sorry. I did, I called it out. But this just isn't about health. It's about the economy value also. Smoke-free communities consistently see an economic benefit. Here's how: lower healthcare costs happens, increased tourism and business appeal, reduces maintenance costs, and improves working productivity. So we also have the opportunity to lead. By becoming a smoke-free town, Culver can set an example for other communities in Marshall County and beyond. We can be a model of proactive public health and economic foresight. To ensure this initiative truly reflects the values and needs of our community, I plan to conduct a community assessment of Culver. This process will allow us to gather input, understand concerns, and build informed support for a smoke-free policy in Culver. I am currently asking for your support to move forward with this assessment only. It is a key component of the grant that I am currently doing. I received another grant for this cycle from 2025 to 2027, and hopefully after that I'll retire, and require approximately 1 year to collect all this data. So it's not an easy project. So I'm going to engage community members, stakeholders, prepare then a thoughtful proposal to the town council. But I want to thank you for your time and your leadership and your commitment to making this Culver a healthier, stronger, and more vibrant place for everyone to live. I just wanted to show you that this is one of the forms that I need to collect and get all the data with. There's a lot of information in here that'll take me a little bit of time to do. This is the main one of my indicators for the grant. I also have a community readiness assessment that I will be asking people in the community to complete and to fill out. These are also part of my grant, and they do have time limits on these that I have to do. But so I'm just asking right now is, may I do the assessment and go forward with this? I guess that's basically it. With the assessment itself, with the seat, I have two different ones. I have the seat pass, which they have asked me to look at schools, businesses, government, town councils, and send out assessments to 10 different areas. And then I would have 10 different people that some of these people are not even going to know who I am. So I will get that information back from them, and then I'll have to calculate all that. The state will help me calculate that and see if you guys are ready for a smoke-free ordinance and ready to be one of the smoke-free communities in the state of Indiana. Right now, there's not very many, but you guys are really, really close.
Cost us as a town anything?
Not a dime. Not a dime. It's me. You got me.
What do you consider public places?
Right now, public places would be the parks and the library, any indoor places such as restaurants, but all your restaurants are smoke-free. So, I mean, that's what I was saying. I was like, so close. You guys are so close to doing this, but I have to go through the paperwork and all the steps that I have to do to make sure that that is okay.
Does that, by public space too, does that include, say, sidewalks outside of the business?
It could. And you do have I mean, we already have a state law that you have to be 8 feet away. We can make that stricter within the town if you would like. We can go above that 8 feet. We can make it 10 feet. We make it 20 feet, depending on what the assessment says and what is going on.
Yeah, I know we have a few restaurants where bone of contention where, you know, somebody's having drinks, they can't smoke inside, so they go outside, and we've seen them gather in certain places in town.
But the law is they have to be 8 foot away from the doors.
Yeah. I think it looks like they are, yeah. But for the most part, I'm guessing they're encouraged to be wherever they're placing it, cigarette dispenser, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
we know that we're a smoke-free park, but we're constantly fighting that battle, as Crystal could probably tell you. And Amber of yesteryear, and even the police.
Yeah.
We see it at, especially festivals and people on the beachfront trying to get away with it.
You know, I work at the hospital, and I caught a guy today walking through the parking lot smoking a cigarette. And, you know, I'm not shy about that because, one, that's my job. But two, it's like, you know, this is smoke-free property. Can you put the cigarette out, please? So, you know, I guess it's where you are. And if it's already smoke-free, you gotta, sometimes it's like, I know I drive 60 sometimes, 55 is the speed limit. But I could also smell that cigarette smoke. And then that starts invading my non-smokers' rights. So it's just the assessment. It's not going to cost a dime. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take me some time to gather all this information. So that's what I'm asking for, is just to be able to do this assessment.
I make the motion that we allow that to do assessment.
Troy moves to allow Annette to do the assessment. Second by Ms. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Thank you.
All right,
And I'll be in touch with you.
thank you very much. Under old business, we have the second and third read of ordinance 2025-011, the 2026 budget. Entertain a moment or motion to approve on second read.
To approve.
Second.
And second by Ms. Monroe. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to suspend the rules for third read?
I'll make that motion to suspend the rules and pass them third reading.
Ms. Monroe moves to suspend the rules and pass on third read. Is there a second? A second by Ms. Rishardi. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the second and third reading of ordinance 2025-012, ordinance amending and restating and establishing parking regulations. Chief Becker, is there anything you want to add before we go into this?
I don't believe so. Mr. Dante and I had discussed that it was kind of a generalized markings of the street to make it more clear rather than anything specific. Like taking a whole area out or something of that nature.
There was a specific request made during the last meeting just to ensure that people in Lakeview would have adequate parking. We went down, measured, we're looking at 8 to 9 spots that will be available on Lakeview. There was one that was without a driveway at left parking. We also did the similar function on Marmount with the other one. The only amendment that we did include was per the council president's request, and we extended that to North Plymouth to Ohio now instead of stopping at Maine. So that street will be marked in accordance with the Indiana manual. And adequate parking there as well.
How many spots do we get rid of?
I mean, did we get rid of? We really didn't. We just are gonna make it to code where the driveways are on the code, the curbs, basically, for safety reasons. So,
I mean, with it being unmarked, it was hard to tell exactly how many spaces there were. I mean, if it would be a traditional street that had spaces and we could go through and take some out, we would know, but it was kind of a free for all wherever they were fitting.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say how many you lost. Any?
it's in-
Were we gonna do a map that,
It was a good suggestion, actually, that Kevin made, and that's gonna be a bit time consuming with the GIS and getting that logged in, but that's something definitely worth doing because it's gonna save time. It's a winter project. We want to get these marked out and painted to get that done, so.
I think someone at the county, I can't remember who did our map or redevelopment.
They're,
Someone at the county that might help you with that.
they do, yeah, they've done it with wetland, I mean, they delineated a lot of stuff for town, so I'll tap in from the county administration.
email at the top?
Distance from a street
Yeah.
intersection?
Yeah.
Actually, I just inquired with Bob on that this week of 30
30
feet,
feet,
15 from, I believe, a driveway.
That's
fire
right.
hydrant.
that's right,
30 feet from an intersection.
correct.
Yeah, that's what the engineers did by too. And you have to do more certain circumstances, it becomes 50 feet. I think in some you even had 15. If there's a sight line on an alley, all sorts of weird stuff.
Hydrants too. But the manual's nice, the manual establishes exactly what the property is.
Yeah, I have a question. Yeah. And we have signs, but the curbs are not blue. And my experience has been with all the families that come in from there, they're not familiar with what handicap parking is, and they will park there. So is that a state law that the curb has to be blue? The little white man in the chair has to be on the ground, or
I believe off the top of my head, it's either or,
Either.
sign or markings. If they don't know the sign, I don't know that they would know what the blue means.
no,
If
they
I was-
definitely don't, because
So I was to guess what you're saying there, if they don't know what the sign is, if we would paint the curb blue, I don't know that that would help as well. You're talking about there's areas that don't have blue, but they have the sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know from talking to people about the golf cart situation, that using the school board and the board from the depot has helped some of those people understand what the golf cart rules are. So maybe we put something on there about handicap parking, because or whatever that thing's titled, it might be a good way to educate people. Because I mean, if I was here, I wouldn't want to get $150 ticket or whatever the ticket is for parking in that. Make some.
And you're talking about violators with a golf cart parking, or just in general?
Just in general.
I think that-
The guys that I were talking to one was from Colombia and one was from, I think, Costa Rica. They said they learned about the golf cart law by looking at the reader board on School Street. So is that a way to educate them on handicap parking? Or, I mean, if I'm coming here and to visit my kid and I get a ticket, certainly I can't appear in court because I'm going back to Colombia or South America or wherever I'm going. And that you don't want to sour somebody out in the city because they got a ticket that now went from $150 to $350. So is there a way to educate them on our handicap parking? And do you know how many spots we have in town?
I don't know how many spots they have.
I would think on that.
I don't,
Do they have to have an ignition license?
so folks that are here visiting from another country, as long as they have another country driver's license, there's no such thing as an international driver's license. When we talk about international driver's license, that is actually just a card for translation. So we ran into that out here. Somebody will go and they'll get those translation cards anywhere. They're not an actual driver's license. It translates it mainly over to English. So when somebody gets stopped and they say, well, I have an international driver's license. No, you don't. There's no such thing as international driver's license. It's a translation card. So as long as they're here visiting on they're legally operating on their country's driver's license. Now, if somebody moves from one particular state to Indiana, then you have a grace period of so many days. If you become an Indiana resident, that your out-of-state driver's license is only valid for so many days. But people visiting here properly can operate on their country's driver's license.
To answer the question, Craig, that there is an ordinance that does have the actual handicap parking listed. Jenny did an inventory.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
say,
and
I know
these
there
are adding
was-
3.
from what I remember, we added one on Main Street down in the business district when we redid that last time, and then
There's one on Mark.
there's one next to Lake House, and we also added one in the park, because I think we only had one in the park.
Yep.
And I had a gal that petitioned me for a while, because that spot fills up right away in our high season. We could probably even add a third to the park and it would fill up without an issue. But, I wouldn't have any issue with them painting those blue on top of the signage and putting something on the electronic boards.
Yeah.
You might have to look up the Spanish version of those instructions if it's
I
out
think
of
that-
towners.
I think that's interesting because I think that gets to the larger point. I think in your experience, Academy is Spanish. So I think providing maybe a bilingual method as well might be a solution, something we need to think about with signage in general. But I appreciate that.
I've been to some European countries and you can tell kind of it's very similar to ours. Where I haven't been to Spanish speaking countries. Thailand's were obvious to me, but Thailand has no infrastructure, so all that confused the heck out of me. There's no drainage, there's
Not sure
1,000
I'm
wires.
sure the signage always communicates what we think it's communicating
Yes,
either, right?
right.
Yeah. So,
You sort of have to guess in some cases, but I don't think it would hurt to try to. And maybe even the academy can help educate their parents.
agreed, a handout or something.
Yeah, before parents weekend or something.
Worth looking into.
Mr. President, I move to pass the ordinance on second read.
Second,
Okay. Mr. Croy moves to approve the ordinance on second, third read, second by Ms. Monroe. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Suspend the rules.
I think we can if we were 5-0, right?
Make the motion to suspend the rules and pass on third read.
I'll second that one too.
Mr. Croy moves to suspend the rules and pass on third read, second by Ms. Monroe. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Approved on third read. Do we have any new business? Yes, sir. Next on the agenda is department reports. First, emergency medical services. Michael, you on?
I am, sir. Thank you. Good evening, council. Tonight, I'd like to get the council's approval for an additional full-time paramedic position starting in 2026. Hopefully you all got my email to kind of show my points that we talked about back in the budget meetings. So here we are to talk about it.
My only question, Mike, is probably more of a question for Karen, and it sounds like the two of you have worked on this. Like, are you comfortable that if overtime decreases as a result of full-time, we'll stay within the budget that we've outlined for next year?
Yeah, we kind of factored in a 6th person when we presented the budget. My only overarching concern with everything is House Senate Bill 1 is going to affect us going forward in the future. And we may have to be prepared. If you hire a 6th person, if somebody falls off, we may not replace them. After, we just have to see where funding is coming from. And there's a lot of other changes that I anticipate happening that I don't know how to affect us. So that would just be the one drawback. But I mean, for next year, It's something that's been built into the budget in anticipation of this request.
So Mike, I assume that you would advertise now to hire starting sometime in January so that you don't have to go through
Yeah,
your 2026 budget for this position.
right. I will start with, staff, already employed, part-time paramedics, start with, employees already with Culver. I would probably start, I would think, in December with that. And then if nobody, goes with that, then we could open it up to the outside, for paramedics on the outside of our, town.
Karen, do we get help from the county or the township? For paramedics?
The township, for EMS, altogether, the township contributes half of the budget,
Okay.
less the money that they collect for their runs. We get no help from the county.
That'd be nice.
That,
Do you have
that's,
any?
Yes.
that's what I meant. I meant the township. I was meaning in there. And they're good with this as far as half of the new position, or is this?
We discussed it during the budget, and we brought Marlene in and talked about this before we presented to the council and went through the whole process.
Thank you. So what we're really asking is, internal advertiser, create a new position rather than hire somebody, right?
Right, well.
We have to create the
we'd be
position.
Creating a position.
We also have to add it to the salary ordinance when that is passed. We'll start discussing that soon. And so you can go ahead and approve. I mean, if it's your desire to hire the sixth person, you can go ahead and approve, authorize Mike to advertise that position. And then when we get to the salary ordinance, we'll add that position so that we can pay the person.
Yeah, it depends on what level they're at within the range that's already in the ordinance.
It would just
But
be
you
a
still have
paramedic.
to- yeah.
It's just paramedics one.
You're creating, like, it's kind of like when we created the part-time position for deputy clerk assistants and clerk assistants, you have to still, it has to be in the salary ordinance somewhere. So we're not paying a ghost employee.
Right. Do we have to approve that hire? When Mike does it, are we giving Mike, is that what we're doing? Is giving
Yes.
Mike the ability to hire? Okay.
Right.
And Mike, you have 10 part-time?
Yeah, I would say roughly 10 part-time, paramedics.
And this will give you what, Mike?
This would give us 4 full-time paramedics.
I'll make the motion to have Mike move forward with hiring for this new full-time paramedic position.
Ms. Monroe moves to approve Mike to move ahead with advertisement for the full-time position of paramedic. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Neer. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign.
Thank you very much. I also want to give a shout out to Bob Porter, Utilities, for helping me out. This week, we've had some plumbing issues at the station, and he's done a great job. So thanks to Bob and his guys, and appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay.
Terry.
Yeah, I have two things I'm gonna bring up. Month before, you guys approved of us getting our hoses tested by a company. The company did a great job. Marked all our hoses, everything. And with that, we found 800 feet of hose that was bought in 1990 and 1995 that we had to take out of commission. It was old, so old it wouldn't pass the test. So we got a price for these 8 100-foot hoses from 2 different companies. One was $7,040. The other one was $5,936. I'd like to give permission to replace that hose. The 5-inch hose that goes on the back of the trucks. Each truck should carry 1,000 feet. Without this 800, it doesn't. we're counting that into our 1,000 people that we count every time we test. How much always you got? Got county called, insurance company called, what do you got? It's like a main line that we put down water. This is what we,
there any difference between the two?
no, they're identical.
Right.
From what I read, they're both identical hose. One wants to sell it for the other.
I move that we authorize Terry to buy 800 feet of new hose. Yeah, at the lowest price.
Sorry, Terry. We'll go with that high bid host here.
Get the high guy back, yeah.
Corey's moved to allow Terry to buy additional hose at the lowest price, and second by Mr. Sardi. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
And the next thing I'd like to do is I'd like to purchase a base radio for the truck that's coming first of the year. It doesn't come with the radio. And what we've done in past years is take out the two radios. It's an old truck, new truck, and they're 40 years old. The new radio is a dual band, so it does both of our bands to 800 and our VHF radio on one radio, so we don't have to have two radios. The price tag on that is $8,063.52.
I'll motion to approve the radio purchase for the new truck coming in.
I'll second.
Mr. Monroe moves to approve the purchase of the new radio for the truck and seconded by Mr. Croy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
And that's all I have. We waited through summer, yeehaw. The county's been kind of pushing around the burn ban. Hopefully get a little bit more rain. The counties around us already are in a burn ban situation. Talked with all the chiefs in the county and not one of them have stepped up and said we need it. So could happen if we don't get rain in the next weeks or so. It's really starting to get there, but the other counties around us drive through and you'll see it. We've been very fortunate with that. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Terry. Chad?
Thank you, council. Since the first part of September, we got Labor Day behind us, so I'm seeing a reduction in people's movement. And still the typical day-to-day stuff that's keeping us busy, but kind of nice to see that we are slowing down. We won't use the Q word because we don't use that in emergency services, but seeing the latter part of September and the first part of October a little bit slower. I know that since the project on Lakeshore Drive was going on, there was some citizens' concerns about traffic flow with the detours, particularly West Terrace and Academy Road. So myself and the guys have been doing extra patrols, extra traffic directive enforcement on West Terrace and Academy Road. I've been monitoring the signs sometimes on the weekends. The signage may get moved, maybe by the contractor, so I kind of been making sure that that's in place. There was some concerns about the do not enter sign, so we've got that in place. I hope that's helped. Try to listen to what the concerns were that were coming in from folks and trying to correct those so that we make it very obvious about which direction of flow that the traffic should be flowing. So hopefully that's helped over the last few weeks. I do have a more documented traffic stops, things going on West Terrace.
I appreciate seeing you in West Terrace because that's my mom's neighborhood and there's a lot of little kids that ride their bikes and I like crawl through that neighborhood because the little ones just, and they're not always road aware,
Sure.
you know.
And the
So
sidewalk
I've
issues.
seen the police vehicles and they're quite a bit on visits over there and I really appreciate it because I'm very protective of all those little kids over there. I love seeing kids in the neighborhood like that. It's kind of cool.
And
But
then-
there are some cars flying through there.
Sure. And then I've been working, when we talked at budget time, about some of the equipment that I want to try to get purchased this year. I've been working on quotes for that, so, specifically radios, firearms. So I'm working on getting quotes for that different stuff. I was hoping to bring some of those purchase requests to you tonight, but I want to give you some opportunity, and I'll try to maybe forward those to you folks. So you have some time ahead to review those if you need instead of me just for them. That's all I have, unless you have anything further.
Crystal?
We might finally start slowing down over in the park now that, fall has hit this week. The beach has still been busy on the weekends, people still coming in to the park. And Kevin has officially started showing me the ropes of piers. So I'm just kind of going through all of the information and learning that, and then, really just prepping for next year. We have a conference next month, and then it's just,
Are you gonna go to?
people keep saying, what in the world do you do in the winter time there? And I'm like, well, all of the things that you see for the summer, that's, what we're starting to do. So
It's a great conference, and last year Crystal won a bench.
I did, we still don't have a bench.
Still
But
gets it.
we still do not have a bench, but they, the person that was supposed to give the benches had to, resign promptly due to a health thing, and so they finally have somebody else in place, who's starting to get the benches out. And I was just thinking, because it's a veterans bench and, suicide awareness bench, that it would be cool if we could get it before, Veterans Day. So I'm gonna reach out and see if we can get ours in the next couple of weeks to borrow the truck and get down there, because they don't deliver. The previous person said they would bring them to us. This new person will.
That one, farm carrots. We'll go down.
Is it coming out of Indy or French Lick or?
No, I believe it's somewhere near Go.
Okay.
Crystal JD Castleman stopped me and said he was glad to be part of the.
We've started a Friends of the Park, and so far JD Catherine is my only friend.
Anybody wants to add to the friends list, JD.
Yeah, he, cut down a mulberry along the shoreline yesterday. He's been real helpful.
And he's excited.
He's got a lot of knowledge too. So.
Yes. So tell your friends if they want to help out.
Anything else, Crystal?
No, I'm good.
Bob, were you on?
Yes, sir. I have nothing for you unless you have something for me.
Yeah, thanks for the leak repair.
Yeah. All right. Town manager report.
Yes, sir. We're there. All right. Nothing for approvals tonight, but quite a few updates. Been a busy couple weeks. We sent out the peer letter, and Crystal and I met to take care of that transfer and helping out with that. So we sent out a letter just reminding people of the date that they have to have their boats out and the lifts, and it looks like it works going well. Also sent some things around to the lift. They're already out working, so they already do. We're hopefully going to get that out, and I know the Valaquette brothers are anxious to get out there. I think school's on fall break next week, so they want to get some of the piers started there. Along those lines, we also we received several complaints about the ongoing weed problem with jet skis, and I wanted to make sure that we did that properly, because anytime you're dealing with the environmental side, Adam said it was a great resource for me. Walked through it. He said those are invasive weeds. It's going to require some manpower. Marty and several people have volunteered that they're going to come down. We have to remove them by hand. It's going to take a couple of years because they've already seeded. So we'll have to remove them every probably spring, but it's something to do, and it's a great community builder, and we'll get out in the water together. So I reached out to the DNR to receive the proper permitting. They were very nice. They said absolutely no problem. Just send a picture that delineates the problem area, and I'm filling out the grant, or not grant, I'm sorry, the permit, and should have it done, and we'll probably plan on spring next year. Several renters said, you know, if we don't remove those, we're not going to have them, and they keep expanding out, right? We've watched them grow off of the shoreline. So hopefully we'll get some people out and start pulling some weeds. Last meeting, John Helfrey approached about the tree in the IU. We're having some communication issues with Emerson. Stephanie reached out, and then I talked to Davies, Aaron Flint at Davies as well. So we've been in communication the last 2 weeks. I think Stephanie Freeman Day, who's working through the IU program, has made several attempts. I have an online meeting with her tomorrow, but she's also very concerned about Emerson. So we're not sure where the communication is. We did have a productive meeting before the last council meeting, as I reported, and everything was supposed to be on track. We're coming down to yet another deadline day that she was given by Stephanie for a Friday. That's not happening right now. We're hoping that she shows up to the meeting tomorrow. I've been in constant communication with John, and he's been really good. And we both realize that our attempts to communicate with her are not happening. What I've done in contingency, always, hope for the best, but plan for the worst. What are our options, right? And so Stephanie and Aaron, who's with the Davies program, said that we can have the problem at this point is the tree species list is getting low. I've got the tree species list for John. What's left? There's a good selection, but I'm not sure that's what the tree commission wants to do. So I'm going to present at the meeting, not present, but talk to them at the meeting on next week on the 15th. We're going to try to walk through a decision-making paradigm. We've been given the option from Stephanie to wait till next spring for this plan. Not sure where John is at. We talked today and we're sharing a lot of the same feelings, but we also want to present to the tree commission and let them have their moment without any type of influence of opinion. So right now our options are, we could go with the spring. There's not a problem with the grant that's provided. Same number of trees and everything. The planting warranty on the trees are based upon a fall plant, not a spring plant. So we'd have to make some transition there. But for the most part, we would get the same exact deal in the spring. And if we can have a better species selection and not rush to place, that's fine. But that's up to the tree commission. That's the choice. Another choice that the tree commission may want is, we received 100 trees for $3,500. It's hard to, you can't find that out there. But what we could do is ask for a refund of money and say, listen, didn't work out, whatever. I'm going to facilitate communication and represent the tree commission's wish on that, and I'll find out next week. And hopefully tomorrow's meeting might produce some more answers for us. But that's where we're at with the lack of communication from Emerson. I don't have anything more on that. We had a great meeting today. Mr. Clevenger was there, Marty Osterbond from Redevelopment, Andy Settlemeyer from the Academy, and we met with a gentleman named Chris Hart, who we've been discussing a hotel with, who has interest, has approached us through Greg Hildebrand, and Marshall County Economic Development brought him to us. And today we were discussing possible locations and incentive packages. And there are several locations that would not put a strain on the infrastructure wise. I was kind of surprised they needed 2-inch feet. That's an easy, right? That's really not that much of a request. For the fire protection, I think they said 4-inch. And so both are well within the realm. There are some available properties that were attractive to them that didn't involve necessarily the academy. And that was something that Andy and I talked about while we were looking at it.
Hotel in Culver.
Sorry, is that you, Mike? Yeah, we're done. Jay had a pity there. Anyway, for the most part, the meeting's going forward. They want us to kind of have some soft discussions, start looking towards the investment interest. And Andy Settlemeyer said that the academy would definitely, represent the need. They have a lot of out-of-town hockey players, lacrosse programs, and that was the big driver. So we'll see where we go with that. Documentary was great news. So the airing date for the Dennis Quaid production that we did, The Viewpoint with Dennis Quaid, is how we're supposed to say it. We're looking at a broadcast premiere, Fox Business Network, 24 to 48 hours before the November 12th. This looks like they're going to air that. I've got a list. It's going to appear on 100 of the top rated venues, Philadelphia, Chicago. To follow, and not limited to, but CNN, MSNBC, CNBC, Discovery Live Espanol, Family Channel, and CNN Headline News are some of for the 60-second commercial, are going to get the airing. Post-airing reports will provide us data, and specific times after that will not be available. So with the public television affiliate, I've been working with them. It looks like we're looking at the week of November 3rd, 2025 for the exact dates and times that are not yet established for the airings. But again, we're going to go into the top 100 markets there, and we'll be running for a year long there, it looks like. One of the other additional benefits is we get an email distribution call it a blast if you want to, of over 1 million different individuals. It can target demographically. So I'm going to work with redevelopment. I'd like to share it with the council as well, their feelings. There needs to be a decision on who we target age group. In terms of demographic economically, there's a whole choice. They give us a beautiful list of, it's almost a smorgasbord, but you have to choose from either A list or B list. That was the only request. I have all that information. I received it today. I processed some of it, but I'll be sharing it with the council redevelopment. We can open that up for opinion as well. Since it's a community thing, we might want to get some public input on that. But that was exciting to hear. That will be nice and coordinate with housing. Update on electric charging units. I know there's been some call for it all summer long for electric charging units, especially the higher speed ones. I'm reaching out. Jenny was kind enough a couple months ago to provide me some resources, and I've gotten in touch with those. I also would like to talk to the academy and the Collins out at the dunes to find out if they're interested in going along with this, maybe installing some, putting some, and then finding out publicly, is it the park? Where do we need these? Where would be the most advantageous place that we could put them? There's a lot of different locations that have been mentioned, right? And I think that the other thing is, I think we're assuming the need, but I want to make sure that is a need, that is something that people would want. Do we put them down by Cavalier Park as well, in the parking lot? So that's something I'm exploring and getting on board with. And I'm going to reach out to the Collins, and I talked to Andy Settlemyer today. We're going to follow up a little bit. Hopefully, I didn't mention that directly, but we also have some zoning stuff to talk about. So I asked them to put that on the list. We had a great ADA meeting down at the park for talking about accessibility, especially in the park area for people with different handicap, different needs in terms of accessibility. One of the areas that was under discussion, the meeting included Marty Osterbond. They approached redevelopment, Rose Workman did, and as well as Adventure Sailing. And they were attending the meeting as well as others, and Crystal was there. No, you weren't. Sorry. But we were at the beach lodge. Sorry. And we've had conversations. My apologies, Crystal. But Kathy Gross from Monticello, former mayor of Monticello, came up, and Kathy's very good with the AD. She's a guru with it. And she was kind enough to bring Mitch Billiou, who's the Monticello Parks director and has done a lot of peer accessibility work with Lake Freeman. And he was really interesting because he was mind boggled that we don't have changing elevations in our water, which is, when you have a dammed up river, is definitely something that is a concern. So with that conversation, I think we have opportunity. One of the suggestions that was made was forming a committee for ADA compliancy, an ADA committee for the town of just different stakeholders, different voices inside of it, to begin communication discussions for needs and wants of the town and how we can improve. One of the areas that was specifically focused on that meeting was the area between the swimming area and the courtesy pier that was donated. And seeing that not just as an accessibility for ADA, but also how do we bring in more accessibility for our public in general? Could we make that a non-motorized area where we could put kayaks, canoes, rent, and allow people to have greater access, as well as a pier system maybe that can allow sand chairs for people that need access in that form? How can we be a better servant to all constituents, right? And that was part of the conversation. I really look forward to following up with Rose and some different people in that conversation. It's pretty good conversation. Mentioned the DNR, we're working with them. Employee handbook, I think we have what we would consider a final draft. It's not a final draft, but it's a workable draft that we're going to be approaching department heads to provide feedback and suggestions. Obviously, it's a living document throughout these phases. It's not canonized at any time, so we're looking for feedback and help for edits there. Still looking for Steve's position as well as a crossing guard. I got to do a crossing guard duty the other day. Enjoyed it. Looking forward to doing some more. I don't think I got to remember not to wave at people. They think I'm telling them to stop. Yeah, not surprised. Not sharp as knife in the drawer sometimes. Last but not least, I want to thank Justin as he turned in a letter of resignation. Really appreciated the way he stepped up, and hate to see you go. But just on a personal level, thanks. Appreciate it. That's it for me tonight, guys. Thank you. Sorry I took so long.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
This time,
get started, can I confirm it, Culver one?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
By the way, Culver won the soccer first round.
Thank you. That allowed me to put that first question. On to claims over 2,500. I've got 4 of them. FireCat LLC, $3,093.75. That's for repairs and maintenance for the fire department. M.E. Simpson Company, $17,200. That is contractual services for the water. I believe that was for large meter testing. Half of that was supposed to be done last year and they didn't get around to it. So we got all of it this year, unfortunately. Lockmuller Group, $2,534.14. That is for construction inspection on trail, the Lake Max Phase 3 trail. We're almost done with that project. And then finally, Peerless Midwest, $127,102. That is for work on the water plant, comes out of the GEO bond proceeds, part of the whole project or the whole bid package that you all approved, but I try to just bring that to you so you know. It's over 2,500.
Motion to approve claims over 2,500.
So moved.
Mr. Mayor moves to approve claims over 2,500, seconded by Ms. Monroe. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those same sign. Thank you.
The second thing, Tim Starr from Marshall County Hope will be at the next meeting on October 23rd to present on his program, what they're doing in the county, and also probably to update you so that hopefully you will release funds to them. And then the Visitor Center also requested to come before you all and request funding for next year. So I suggested they come to the next meeting and provide a report as well. And then finally, just a reminder that it's the fall, and while we still have a lot of leaves on the trees, probably next meeting I'll be able to tell you that leaf collection will begin. But before that, the guys will be flushing hydrants the week of Monday, October 20th, and I will get information on the electronic sign. And I've also put in a request to the Lions Club to put it on their sign, and we'll use our new Text My Gov to send it out to people on Text My Gov that we have phone numbers for, and I will send it out on Town Garden Lake. And I don't know how else to get that information out. So
Yes, banner.
a warning. Yeah. So and that's
Microphone.
yeah. And so and then also Justin, thank you for stepping up. It's been nice to have you on the council. You've had some great questions and you some things and
Appreciate it.
Anything else, Ms. Anna?
no, except for Go Culver Cavs.
Okay, council issues, Mr. Mayor.
To Faith, Justin, thank you. 3 weeks.
Oh,
I also want to thank Justin. Love the new perspective you brought, being a family man and involved in our local school. Always brought a different point of view from that standpoint. I think that was a great thing and a good shot in the arm for a lot of us. Kind of renewed the spirit of council, if you will. And I baked you some brownies because I know you like the brownies. So everyone feel free to celebrate the good job that Justin for doing that with Justin. I hope you'll run for another office.
Thank you.
Well, I hate to sound like a broken record. We thank Justin for the time that he was able to give to the community. Did a fine job.
Justin, you've done an outstanding job. Brought a lot of wisdom, a lot of positive energy. And I hate to see you go. And I wish you well.
Thank you, sir. From my perspective, first thing, I'm the one with a lot of stuff. I want to thank Chad. There was a situation across from the school the other day where they were repaving the road and there was trailers, school's getting out. And there's a lot going on. It's a detour route. And all I had to do was text Chad, hey, there's traffic over here. And he was over there within 2 minutes and got everything settled down. So thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Of course, want to thank Hannah and the kids for, allowing me to do this. It's funny that Dana when Dana was talking, I was thinking he's kind of the reason, part of the reason I did this. It kind of started at a car show at the Lake Fest, and I was leading the car show and I wasn't doing much and just kind of sitting there and directing people, and Dana said, quote, "I don't think I'll ever forget it." He said, "That's leadership." And because I didn't feel like I was doing anything. I felt like I, just managing here. And he said, "That's leadership." And that kind of got my wheels turning a lot. And over the last 2 years, I've thought about that quote on a regular basis. So thank you. And thank you to all the department heads and my fellow council members. And this was something that I'm very disappointed I had to give up. So I was really starting to enjoy it and get into it. But when the opportunity came to do what's best for my family, I had to make that big time grown up decision. So much as I don't want to leave, I think it's best. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Kevin, Karen, do a fantastic job, and everybody here. And so I hope the next person, whoever they may be, also maybe bring some of that same family perspective to the town. And thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the brownie, Jenny.
I hear a motion to adjourn.
It's been moved by Mr. Cardy.
I don't want it to end, so I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna second it.
Maybe if I don't.
Dana seconds. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye.